So, today is Saturday, April 13th, 2019, and today we will conclude our journey through the Before Buddha Was Buddha, not necessarily working exactly with the texts in that book of mine that came out in the spring, but of spring of 2018, actually. But we'll look at some of the current revisions I've done. And this is the chapter called Closing Words, The Dream Within a Dream, Yang Shan's sermon from the third seat. It's case 25 of the Wumen Quan, or Mumenkan Gateless Barrier. Yang Shan's sermon from the third seat. It goes like this. Yang Shan dreamed he went to Maitreya's realm and was led to the third seat. A senior monk struck the stand with a gavel and announced, "Today the monk in the third seat will preach." Yang Shan rose, struck the stand with the gavel and said, "The Dharma of the Mahayana is beyond the four propositions and transcends the 100 negations. Listen, listen." That's it. That's the whole case. Wumen is saying, or Wumen says, that an old teacher 300 or 400 years before himself, so back in the glorious Tang era, so that would be around 900, 800, 900 AD, had a dream that he was up in Maitreya's realm. And in that dream, he gave a Dharma talk. So the Maitreya, the future Buddha, is said to be in the Tushita heavens right now, working on various means to help deluded beings, that is, us. He's perfecting upaya paramita, or skillful functioning, to help others awake from self-created suffering. This is one of the 10 paramitas, or perfections, skillfulness. A way of teaching that's effective, that actually transforms, helps people step out of the delusions that cause us so much pain and so much anguish. This essential duality where we experience our lives as if separated from everything, as if there's somebody inside our heads and everything else is out there. Upaya is to help us, skillful means to help us see through this terribly, in the end, destructive delusion. So Maitreya is expected to be back down here on earth again after doing all his work preparing. He's supposed to be here soon, that is within the next billion years or so. Heavenly time is different from earthly time. A few years there could be millions here. If you're downstairs in the living room during one of our sesshin rest periods, sitting on a chair or something, you'll see in one of the big bookcase by the mantle, there's a figure of Maitreya. I got that when I was staying with Roshi Kapleau down in Florida for a week or so. We happened to visit an antique store and I found it. It's the traditional pose is Maitreya sitting with one leg crossed, like sitting in a chair, with one leg across his knee, sitting upright, one leg down, and his hand to his cheek or chin, kind of as if thinking. So it's a posture of the Bodhisattva working. On skillful means, how can I help all these beings who are causing themselves so much suffering and causing others so much suffering too? How can I develop the means to really teach them to get free of this suffering? So that's one of the traditional postures you'll see Maitreya in. Now, meanwhile, given his great loving kindness, which is what his name really means, Maitreya, loving kindness, he can't wait. He can't just stay up there in heaven thinking. So he might actually already be found wandering our dusty highways and markets as an old, pot-bellied, shaven-headed, big-eared monk, giving candy to children to keep them from crying, trying to keep things from going totally awry, with a smile, a gift, a word, a laugh, a cup of tea, some toasted buns, or chewy rice cakes. He's called Hotai in this form, and you can see him as our own realized nature in the 10th and final Oxherding picture, dust-covered, grinning broadly, standing in the busy, dusty marketplaces of life. The ox-herding pictures, of course, are a skillful 12th century visual teaching device that, through images and poems, lays out the entire path of Zen practice realization. Or you can see Maitreya next time you go to a Chinese restaurant. He's that chubby, round-bellied, so-called Buddha, a little populist image of something quite mysterious, profound, and grand. Zen temples and monasteries we visited in China had such a figure at the entrance. Big, kind of gilded, fat, kind of bald hotai. Actually, first, to get to the hotai, you had to pass a set of huge, ferocious Dharma guardian figures. And if you weren't ready to enter, their fierce stares might indeed keep you out. Then, once inside, you would turn, and essentially at their back was this smiling figure of Hotai, the future Buddha, in his most populist, down-to-earth form, smiling reassuringly at you. So, Yangshan, the teacher long ago, dreams that he's with Maitreya, up in a heavenly place. This is a propitious dream, one resonant with power. Perhaps he woke from it and murmured, "Wow, where did that come from? I feel honored and refreshed. It must mean something good." For not only did he dream that he was there, but he dreamt that he was in the third seat, a seat of honor. The first seat belongs to Shakyamuni Buddha, the Buddha of our world cycle, the one who fully and perfectly realized the complete potential of mind in our cycle of the expansion and contraction of the universe. After him, in the second seat, comes Maitreya, the peaceful one or loving kindness one, now preparing him or herself for the daunting task of guiding others down here on our difficult planet Earth. Buddhist tradition says that there are countless worlds scattered through the endless universe like grains of sand on a beach. That's how many there are. On some of the most glorious of these worlds, Buddhists don't need strong words to guide their students like they do here. On these glorious worlds, incense, perfume, food, or music can bring the lucky, long-lived, happy beings who dwell there to complete and perfect enlightenment, Anuttara Samyak Sambuddhi. Lest you think, gosh, why didn't I get born there? The catch is that here on our earth, with all its complexities and difficulties, Buddhist tradition says that we can awaken and benefit all beings much more rapidly than on any of the more elegant, easygoing worlds. It seems odd, it's a paradox. It seems they have it so easy, and yet full and complete enlightenment on this earth, because of its very difficulties, becomes much more possible for those who choose to walk this path. Here we don't have the luxury of drifting far from a felt need for spiritual practice. Once this awakens in us, the felt need is never far away, because impermanence is going to bite us in the butt with sharp teeth almost every day. And the need, once it's awoke, once it's aroused, once it's awakened, to know why so many painful things happen, is never far away. So we have a terrific karmic opportunity in being born here, in coming into contact as well with the Dharma, which, as we know from the opening the Dharma, it's very rarely encountered, even in hundreds of thousands of millions of kalpas. This is not just a advertisement for practice. It's the truth. Many people will never encounter the Dharma. Encounter that is not just a belief system, but a practice of liberation. So we can be grateful amidst the challenges and difficulties of an ordinary human life. Of course, as I said, this won't whitewash the challenges. They're there. So Maitreya is working to prepare for his great task. And he or she is already hoping to do what even Shakyamuni Buddha couldn't, namely, liberate all beings still stuck in their habitual sorrows and in the cramped, inadequate vision that inevitably leads to wars, melting ice caps, class warfare, disappearing species, etc., etc., the whole litany of disasters we know today so well. Shakyamuni has come and gone, and while he himself realized full and perfect enlightenment with and for all beings, indeed, opened the very possibility for awakening to original enlightenment for all beings, the old miserable beat still goes on. Suffering is rampant. But Maitreya, well, maybe he'll be able to put an end to it. He or she hopes so. As do we. And now here's Yangshan, up among that lofty company, seated in the primo third seat, where he's been given the teacher's gavel and told, in front of this great assembly, before the Buddha and Buddha to be, the best of the best, show your stuff. Speak words of truth that will release all beings from their bondage. Picture something like this in your own life. The gavel is suddenly put in your hands, and in front of you, row upon row, sit the most high-ranking audience you can even imagine, the best of the best in your field, with countless millions more watching on TV. And now you're asked to stand up, open your mouth, and do your stuff. And nobody told you this was going to happen. Gulp! In an instant, heaven becomes sweaty palm nervous land. But Yangshan, completely unruffled, rises, strikes the gavel, whack! And without any hesitation, directly presents his view. The Dharma of the Mahayana is beyond the four propositions and transcends the 100 negations. Listen, listen. That's it, end of Teisho. Not only is he in a dream, he is teaching in the dream, mouthing dream words in a dream world. This never happened. It was a dream. It's a dream within a dream within a dream. And what do his words mean anyway? You know, all kinds of crazy things get spoken in dreams. What is it to be beyond all phrases, all words, and to transcend all philosophical positions, everyone? Is he saying that while words and letters may point to truth, they can't reach it or bring us to it? That we must let go of them, transcend, and go beyond words to know truth, for it's beyond all that. Well, Zen Master Dogen might disagree. Words are truth themselves, in his view, as much as stars and cats and crows and clouds. But what about values? Where are they when you're beyond everything? Does that mean you're beyond values? Or is that even what he means at all? What does Yangshan mean when he says that we have to get beyond all philosophical positions, all words and phrases, in order to realize the Dharma, the truth? Does he mean that we should get rid of everything and jump into a kind of boundless, unstructured, all-absorbing mayonnaise of spirituality? What, in short, does beyond actually mean? And why did Wu Men think that this would be significant? Why did he include it in the Wumen Quan, or gateless barrier? It's a story of someone dreaming. He said something in a dream. In a dream. We don't want dreams, do we? We want truth. Isn't that why we sit, why we practice, to wake up? We've had enough of dreams. We want to be awake. Enough with the old stories. We're here for truth, not to mention psychological well-being and cool Zen-like moments of being in the zone. Isn't That what Zen practice is supposed to be about? So what's old Wu Men up to? Then again, what could be more fully beyond all logic, reason, concepts, positions than a dream within a dream? The old Celtic storytellers used a device known as interlacement. They'd start a story, then have someone within that story tell a story. And then they'd let there be another story told within that story, and on, story within story within story, like Russian nesting dolls, until our ability to follow what's dream and what's real is totally gone. And then all we can know is what is in that very moment. That alone is real. We are deep in dream, maybe deeper than ever, and at the same time more awake perhaps than ever before. Everything else, all our ordinary concepts of reality having fallen away. Typically in Zen, dream-like events are termed makyo, which means mysterious, uncanny, strange, or delusive mind states. Ultimately, anything not enlightenment is makyo, a dream. From that perspective, even our waking life is a makyo of sorts. And in it, in this life, there are also various low-level makyo that can occur as the mind quiets in zazen, in which either new or long buried from who knows how far back images, ideas, and sensations bubble up. Indeed, after a few days of extended sitting, as for example in sesshin, complex and detailed movies can appear on the wall before us or in the grain of the wood on the floor. Or the walls or floor might seem to ripple in waves. These are simply signs of deepening practice. We are encouraged by our Zen teachers to let them go. In fact, let them come and go, like images in a dream. Not fixate on them or get involved with them, but just continue steadily with our practice. For all of these things, even deep insights, mental insights in any case, are not the point. Indeed, we should pay attention instead to counting each breath clearly and fully, experiencing the breath, sitting fully focused beyond thinking. Thinking actually is how Dogen says it, not beyond thinking, but thinking, not thinking, or absorbing our attention on a precise koan point. But the stream of Yongshans is different. It is mysterious, permeated with timelessness, mystery, and a kind of deep meaning. When we awake from such a dream, we might sense the tang of incense on the air. Was it real? Was it a dream? Shuangzi, the ancient Chinese philosopher sage, once had a dream in which he was a butterfly. When he awoke, he wondered, was he a man who dreamed he was a butterfly? Or a butterfly dreaming even now that he was a man? Which was real? And how would he know? Some makyo can have deep significance and presage, a deeper level of practice. A dream voice might give us an insight. A scientist might find the solution to a vexing problem like Crick seeing the shape of DNA in a dream. A writer might find the solution to his novel in process. A musician hear the closing strains of a symphony she's yet to write. A Zen student might rise through a dream into true wakefulness. All doubts fallen away. Artists, scientists, and religious practitioners through the ages have all known this. Creativity may depend upon it. We may call it vision, or imagination, or instinct, or intuition, but there are clearly subtle realms like gifts, like grace, Maybe animals know it too. What, after all, is instinct? It's said that when young Shan woke from this dream and related it to his teacher, Kuei Shan said, "You have attained the rank of sage." But that's not the point. Wu Men's commentary says, "Tell me, did Yongshan preach or not?" Huh. If you open your mouth, you're lost. If you shut your mouth, you will also miss it. If you neither open your mouth nor keep it closed, you are 108,000 miles off. 108,000 is a classical Buddhist reference. It refers to the 108 defilements that with enlightenment become 108 perfections or virtues. Nothing need be added or taken away. Things are already as they are, defilements and perfections, samsara and nirvana. Still, if you open your mouth and say, "Yes, he did preach," you're lost. I mean, come on. It was just a dream. He didn't really say a thing. None of it happened. So how could he have preached? He dreamed it. If you dream you wrote a novel, did you write it? Well, maybe you did in another world, who knows? Then again, if you don't answer woman's query and stay silent, you've missed it too, for something did happen. If not, there'd be no story. That's the truth. He preached profound words in a splendid dream. That's a fact. How can you not respond? Are you going to ignore facts, the things that happen, in order to have some vague sort of unbothered quiet and peace? If you do that, how real could your so-called peace be? What kind of life would that be? Yongshan really did have a dream in which he spoke in Maitreya's palace, Maitreya's realm. But where can our freedom lie if saying yes is wrong, and if silence too is wrong? In what way are we free, and how can we actualize that freedom, if neither a positive or negative stance will do? What does it mean that the truth of the Mahayana, the great way, is beyond every concept, every philosophical position? What is it to be awake? What is it to be asleep? What is a dream? What is real? Here's our life in a nutshell. Are we real? Are we dreaming? Is it the one or the other? How shall we respond? How do we respond? There are small dreams, self-centered dreams that can plague us. I want this so bad I'll do anything to get it. Might be that sort of small dream. Fierce ambitions find their fuel here. Less drastic versions abound and can form the texture of our ordinary dualistic daily reality. I'm in here, she's out there. That's a tree, that's a raindrop, that's a cow. Ordinary reality is a kind of commonly agreed upon dream. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, says Shakespeare, through Prospero, the magician and stage manager of The Tempest. True enough. We are such stuff as dreams are made on. Then there are odd, mixed-up, rootless dreams, dreams of the night that are the result, as old Scrooge tells us in A Christmas Carol, of the undigested pudding we ate too late at night before going to bed. And then there are vast, large, noble dreams, like the dream of Buddhist practice and of our wanting, indeed vowing, to save all suffering beings, even while we remain somewhat lost in dreams ourselves. That's a big dream, a wild, crazy, magnificent dream. This is the dream that Zen would have as a dream, not just becoming calm, not just gaining a small bit of peace of mind, not just being in the zone. Zen asks us to achieve the realization of an impossible dream, one without any stopping place, a dream that aims for us to drop self-centeredness from our minds and actually liberate ourselves as well as all other beings. This is a big dream, indeed. Roshi Kapleau used to say that enlightenment is a dream. I mean, after all, it's our own mind we're talking about. It's already ours from the start. What are we going to get with enlightenment that we don't already have? Our problem is that we just don't know it. We don't know our own mind. So this is an important dream, this dream of enlightenment. The dream of waking up to reality, a dream on which a great deal of good for ourselves as well as others might depend. Without it and the efforts we make towards its realization, we live half-lives. We get up in the morning, but wandering in our heads, hardly notice the daily miracle of a rising sun, or the light on the leaves at midday, or the moon and stars at night. We live in our thoughts about things, not things themselves. I cannot even tell you how good this cup of tea tastes, how refreshing it actually is. I can't communicate that in words. Ordinary mysteries are manifold. They abound in and around us every day. Yet, while lost in the dream we live, we should not discount that dream's value. Like Yang Shan's dream talk, there is truth in actions and words in a dream. Life is but a dream, the old song says. A Bushman saying in Lauren Vanderpost's classic book on the Bushmen of the Kalahari, The Heart of the Hunter, goes further and says, there is a dream dreaming us. There is a dream dreaming us. For a dozen years, I was invited to tell stories in Zuni Pueblo, one of the most traditional native communities in North America. One day, as Rose and I were driving out of Zuni, we saw a terrible figure striding down the highway that runs through the Pueblo. It was a Toshle, one of the fierce Punisher Kachinas, or sacred beings, a kind of wrathful form of compassion such as you might find in Tibetan Buddhism. He wore a big sacred wooden mask with big sharp teeth and bulging eyes and long black bloody hair, bloody because one hand held a bloody knife, made of painted wood actually, and with that hand a Toshle brushes back his bangs, leaving them blood-stained. He would soon pass Dalyalane Elementary School, the school that looks out on Dalyalane, sacred corn mountain. The teachers would be running out to gather the children before he gets there. If they don't, and those kids see a Toshle, the punisher of wrongdoing, they would faint dead away, dropping down onto the asphalt of the courtyard. You see, myth isn't just something in a book by Joseph Campbell. Myth is real. A Toshle is real. Roshi Kapleau, who had a somewhat Rinzai-like personality, forceful and direct, took quite a Soto-like stance, intuitive and sensitive when it came to myth. He never spoke of Buddha figures or Buddha statues. He always said, the Buddha on the altar. Never a Buddha figure. It was always the Buddha on the altar. Why? The Buddha is real. Maitreya is real. Yang Shan is real. So, you and I are real too. Dogen wrote in Gabyo, painting of a rice cake, a section of Shobogenzo, Eye of the Treasury of the True Dharma. If you say a painting is not real, then the myriad things are not real. Then again, how real is so-called reality? Isn't it in good part what we imagine it to be, or what we are conditioned to believe it to be? Aren't we ourselves in large part what we are conditioned to believe ourselves to be? So is reality really real? Or is it too a kind of dream? We are such stuff as dreams are made on. Bob Dylan adds in Talking World War III Blues, I'll let you be in my dream, if I can be in yours. Dreams within a dream. Shibi Amoroshi, in his commentary on this koan in Zen Comments on the Mumon Kon, mentions that when the Japanese teacher Takkon was dying and was pressed by his disciples for a last verse, he picked up his brush and wrote a single word, dream. Roshi Kapleau used to relate how not long after he arrived at Hoshinji Monastery in Japan, a monk asked him, Kapleau-san, do you believe in dreams? He told us that it took him many years of dedicated Zen practice before he finally grasped what that monk was getting at. Do you believe in dreams? Who is it that believes in dreams? There is a dream dreaming dreams. There is a dream person teaching in a dream to dream beings in the koan, and right now as well, here in this room. A dream person teaching dream beings. Is that wrong? Is it wrong that our life is a dream? Does that belittle or demean a thing? It's not that it's just a dream. Rather, it's dream. Do we need to change that? Do we need to make it realer? What would that look like? How different would it be? Think again of what Yongshan said from his dream. Within a dream, the Dharma of the Mahayana is beyond the four propositions and transcends the 100 negations. Listen, right now. Not just one day in the future when we get it. Right now. Reality is beyond, yes, no, up, down, dream, true, real, good, bad, wise, foolish. What is it then? What is it? Did Yongshan express it fully? How will we? For we must. Every day we are in the third seat. Every day someone, some situation, some event puts a gavel in our hands and says, speak words of truth. But speak might be the same as live, or show. Maybe Wu Men knew what he was doing in taking an old dream talk and pasting it on our foreheads like a miner's lamp. If we turn it on, the koan can illuminate our way. It is not just a story in a Buddhist book, any more than a toshle is just a figure in a book on myth or native ethnography. Dream is life. Here's Wu Men's verse. In broad daylight, under the blue sky, he preached a dream in a dream. Absurd! He deceived the entire assembly. In broad daylight, under the vast blue sky, where nothing can be hidden, no dream or shadow survive, he preached a dream in a dream. Wu Men says, you've got to be kidding. He deceived them all. That was his big talk at this big moment in the assembly of past and future Buddhas? Look again. What them? Us! He tricked us! And Wu Men's still tricking us with this case, and with his whole gateless barrier. Yongshan may have played a trick, but so did Wu Men. They're both deceiving us even now, tricking us out of our small, cramped dreams, out of our dreary little suffering-causing, alternatively self-doubting, self-asserting nightmares, and putting us out in the bright sunlight where for a moment we can blink our eyes and laugh and laugh. With this dream scenario, Yongshan and Wu Men have found a way to pull the wool not over but off our eyes. And that's a pretty good trick, wouldn't you say? The whole progression of the Bodhisattva on the endless path of Jataka practice that leads to Buddhahood is a dream. When through practice we enter that great dream, it brings us alive, even as we breathe life into the Buddha and his path. Vastly empty the Jatakas and all their beings, all their talk of enlightenment, of gaining, losing, struggling, fulfilling, of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and karma, of lifetimes, meditation, home leaving, and practice halls, is a dream. But unlike our endless dreams of personal slumber, this dream is an alarm clock ringing at our bedside, helping us to awake and face the bright daylight of right now. So we will stop here, recite our great vows for all.